Pokemon Professors are the first introduction that we have into the Pokemon series, usually with them being involved in the Welcome to the World of Pokemon speech at the beginning of each game. So today, we're going to go through and rank them on multiple different things, how I feel about them, their contribution to the Pokemon world, and mainly just their overall vibe, because this is my tier list. What else am I going to do? So hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Lane, and with that, let's get started. Alrighty, so at the very bottom we have all of our main series professors, and Mabel, because I feel like she counts here. Overall, my categories, I don't know why I said overall, my categories are Peak Professor, which of course is going to be where the best professor goes in my opinion. Then we got Amazing, Good, Bad, and then Why Are You Here? There's only one or two professors I think that I'm going to be putting in Why Are You Here? But yeah, so we got Professor Oak. He studies Pokemon ecology, and his main goal is to study Pokemon. He wants to set up the Pokedex, and he wants to study each and every Pokemon, which I think is amazing. He's kind of the initial start-off point for us to start in the world of Pokemon. So overall, Professor Oak is an amazing character. The background, the story, how he's got a rivalry with Agatha. His grandson is the jerk rival that we all know and love, and he appears in so many of our different games in so many different regions. He's well known all over the world. Overall, just an amazing character. Professor Elm. He's bad. I don't like Professor Elm. Mainly because he studies Pokemon breeding, and I mean that just means that he's watching Pokemon do the deed. Which I get it. When they introduced this character into the series, like they just had introduced breeding into the overall Pokemon games. So sorry. And they needed something to demonstrate this, to show that it was an important feature. It was a feature. So I get why they did it, but just the implication that he is studying Pokemon breeding, I'm not a fan of it. It comes off kind of, really? They couldn't have gone a little deeper, different direction with it. Next we got Professor Birch, and I like him. I think overall as a character, he's interesting. He's the father of your rival. There's a lot of lore, a lot of backstory with him. He studies Pokemon habitats. I made a YouTube short, not actually about like 6-7 months ago, that went into a theory that he and Professor Mirror from Pokemon Snap, New Pokemon Snap, are actually brothers, because they both study habitats and ecology and how Pokemon interact, and it's super interesting. They look a lot alike and all of that stuff, but yeah, overall, I think that Professor Birch is a very, very interesting character. Next, we have Professor Rowan, who studies Pokemon evolution, and I'm gonna put him in good. He definitely feels more like a cranky old man compared to Professor Oak, and I think that that's points against him. But I do like that he studied with Professor Oak at one point. They're colleagues, they know each other. I think that that's really interesting for his backstory. I also like the fact that, or due to him being in the center region where they introduce so many different cross-generational, I don't know, new evolutions to old Pokemon, that it just feels like he belongs in this region due to that. And I really enjoy him as a character, but I don't think that overall he's amazing. I do like the fact that he's related to Komodo, and like you just get different vibes from the two of them, but also like the same vibe. I don't know. I just think overall he's a good character. He's a cool character. Next we got Professor Juniper, and I'll put her up in good as well. I don't think that she's an amazing character. I love that they introduced a female professor like this early into the series. I think that was pretty innovative for Pokemon, I guess. I don't know. Pretty forward thinking. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if I know what she studies off the top of my head. Okay, so apparently she studies the origins of Pokemon, which I don't care for. I'm actually gonna bump her down to bad because of that. Like, I feel like majority of these characters study things that are important to, well, I guess the origins of Pokemon are important to the lore, so I'll bump her up to here. But I think that for the professor to be impactful, it needs to be something super pressing. So like Professor Oak studies ecology, the interactions between the Pokemon. Professor Birch studies where Pokemon live, their habitats. Professor Rowan studies evolution of Pokemon, how they evolve, why they evolve. Professor Elm even studies breeding, which is a pretty important thing to like competitive battling and how Pokemon got here and the introduction to all of the baby Pokemon. So like I get that that's all important, but the origins of Pokemon overall to a gameplay point of view does not have a major impact to me. I think from the lore side of it, like, because I know she studies Clink and Clink Clang and Clang and LGM, and like that's important. It's good to know that from a lore perspective, but I just don't know why we need to have a professor like that. I think there's one other person who is probably gonna be in the why are you here section that, yeah, you know. Professor Sycamore, vibes alone, top of amazing. I love this guy. He's probably our best dressed and best looking Pokemon professor. And yeah, he studies evolution just like his mentor, Professor Rowan. And he also studies Mega Evolution, which once again, like I just spoke about how I feel like for them to be impactful, they need to study something that has a big impact on their region or the games that they're studying in. And I think that Professor Sycamore definitely does. He also gives you the Kanto starters. You have a battle with him. He's one of the first professors that you can actually battle with and interact with. And yeah, overall, I think that he's an amazing character. Just like Professor Sycamore, Professor Kukui is going to go top of amazing, just off of vibes alone. Vibes and, appearance. But yeah, I think that him studying moves, Pokemon moves, and Z moves by extension are super, super important, super, super interesting. And I think that sorry, I just got distracted thinking about him. What was I going to say? I think that, yeah, Z moves are an integral part of the culture to the Alola region. And I think that studying that is very, very important to the lore of the overall Alola region. Now we got Professor Magnolia, who studies Dynamax. Now, just because I like her better, Professor Juniper, I'm going to struggle with you. But Professor Magnolia is going to go up in good. Overall, I think that, like I said with the past two people, even though like Mega Evolution, Z moves, Dynamaxing, they're all very specific to the region that they are in. I think that I think that they still have a huge impact on the overall story. Professor Magnolia, though, she studies Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing, and I don't think that she had a huge impact on me. I don't remember her being in the story that much. Beyond giving you your band at the very beginning of the game, I don't think she really had that much of an impact on the overall lore of the Pokemon game. So yeah, she's gonna go, honestly, I might even bump her down to bad. She's not a bad character at all. Like, she's interesting. I think that if they gave her some more lore, I love the fact that she's got a granddaughter, Sonia, but I just don't think that she really needed to exist. She even hands off her title of lead professor to her granddaughter, Sonia. And Sonia, why are you here? It is because she studies history. Like, she's a history major. And what do you do with a history degree? You teach. I'm kidding, of course. You can do a lot of things with a history degree, like teach. But overall, I don't know why she is the one who turns into the professor. I believe that Magnolia didn't need to hand off her title. I do think that overall it's interesting in the Galar games how there is like this passing of the torch trend. We've got like Pierce handing off his title of gym leader to Marnie. Same with Opal with Bede, so then Magnolia hands her title off to Sonia. It's interesting, but I don't know if she was the right pick for it. And why are you here? Like, why are you a Pokemon professor? Next we have Professor Laventon, who also studies Pokemon ecology and the habitats and interactions. I like him a lot. I'm gonna put him up in good. He's not gonna be great. Honestly, I'll probably bump him down to good as well. I'm gonna save amazing for the truly amazing characters. But overall, Laventon's good. This is probably my Legend Arceus bias, but I think that his character is super interesting. That we kind of get some idea that maybe he is related to Hop and Leon, and Hop wants to become a researcher by the end of Sword and Shield. So it's just interesting that their ancestor could have been a researcher. Interesting connection at least. But yeah, overall his character design is pretty good. I like that he never truly gives up on the character throughout the storyline. I think his vibes chill overall. But yeah, overall he's good. Next we got Sada and Toro, who are interchangeable, but I'm going to place Toro above Sada because, you know. And yeah, I think that their overall storyline, their overall, progression within the series of Scarlet and Violet, super, super interesting. I love the background, I love the lore. They study terastalization and time travel, Which, you know, is crazy to me because we never actually get confirmation on if they are traveling in time or if they are just going to another dimension where I'm not going to get into that, but I probably will at some point with an actual video. So just stay tuned for all of that, you lovely people. And yeah, Toro's a very handsome looking guy. Sada is a very handsome looking woman. Just kidding, she's beautiful. All these characters are beautiful in their own way. I love it. But yeah, I also love that their character artwork, their designs resembled like the games that they were meant to be in. I also like the idea that even if one of them is Arven's parent in the game that they're in, so like Toro and Violet, Sada and Scarlet, like it still like would make sense that the other parent would be the other parent. Like just from like a biological standpoint, but it's interesting to me that they don't both appear in each other's games. And then we get the actual like time paradox, the like with the pool, the crystal pool. These characters are really good. I like these characters a lot, even though you never actually get to meet them. They're really cool characters. Lastly, we got Mabel, who I'm gonna put right there. I love her backstory with being a part of the evil team from, you know, I'm just gonna bump Juniper down. You've been giving me a headache all this time, Juniper. I'm gonna put Mabel up in good because I like her backstory with being a reformed member of Team Flare, and that this is like her penance for being evil in those games. And I think that overall she's just a super interesting character. Like you can tell like it's not her first choice, but she's still trying to help with the wild zones in Lumio City. Just super interesting character. I like her design. I like that they, instead of like creating just a brand new character, they made an existing character into this position. I think that that's just really, really cool. So obviously the worst professor in this case is going to be Sonia, because I don't know why she's the professor of an entire region when she just studies history, but you know, whatever. And my peak professor is actually going to be a tie between Sycamore and Kukui, because if you know, you know. Yep. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me. I don't know why I had to pause. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all the fun YouTube stuff. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!